or flight? Which nervous system? That is the question that I'm going to answer in this week's weekly reflection. My name is Marcus Smith, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, extreme athlete, and coach. And this is my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for coming by. If you've been here before, thank you. If it's your first time, welcome. Arms wide open, as always. This is my weekly reflection. Every week for the last number of years, I do a weekly reflection. I look at what's gone by in the week, what I learned, and I write it down. And then I think about it, and I think about how it'll serve me in the next week. Good things, and also bad things. Last week we spoke about COVID masks, which I think are bad. Thanks for your feedback on that through the various channels. This week, a different topic, fight or flight. And why, you might ask, am I talking about fight or flight this week? I have seen an insane amount of aggression in the last few weeks. Now, everybody just needs to calm down a little bit and we'll get through this together. However, I think it's very natural what's going on at the moment, and that's why I thought we would talk about it today. The fight or flight response, why is that coming out? Why are people like this right now? Well, in simple terms, and I'm going to break this down really quite simply because I don't want to go into like loads of geeky details, but the nervous system, brain, nervous system, spinal column, they're all part of our body. And also we have within that, if you go down like two levels, two nervous systems. One is the sympathetic nervous system and one is a parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system we use in emergencies, when we're under stress, when we're under pressure, and this is the fight or flight mode. The parasympathetic nervous system is a lot more chilled out. It's a lot more relaxed. However, right now, what's going on is that we're seeing lots of people in this fight or flight mode. Why is it important? Because that's how we're behaving as human beings. And I've been starting to think about it as I've been having more interactions over the last few weeks. 3 weeks ago, going to a coffee shop or going to a restaurant was a little bit alien, a bit of a strange thing to do. But the last couple of weeks, we're gonna start going a little bit more. The week before last and also this week, it's fine again. People are a little bit more relaxed about things, but there is a lot of aggression out there. Why is this happening? And as I said, why is it important? It's important for the one reason, because we need to understand how we're behaving and we need to understand why we're behaving like that. This is all intrinsically linked to motivation. Why is it going on? I have a very, I would say interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. My theory on this is interesting as to why this is going on. We have been in a state of compression, suppression, bound up in these houses, flats. Some people have big ones, others have small ones, 1 bedrooms, and for the last 2 to 3 months in some cases. And this has made people a little bit crazy. And it's almost like an animal on a number of levels. And it's like an animal. When an animal gets put back in the wild, it doesn't quite know how to behave. Things are a little bit different. We see things in a different way. We're getting a number of our senses activated that have not been activated for quite a few weeks or even months. We're smelling different things. We're seeing different things. We're hearing different things. And this week I've had 3 acai bowls outside of my house, so I'm definitely tasting different things. That's just a few of the senses. A lot more senses are being activated that haven't been activated for quite a few months. And when that happens, we jump into the sympathetic nervous system. We jump into this fight or flight mode. Why? Because we're simply not relaxed. It's not normal for us. We say often in motivation that if you can do something for 7 days, that's great. The habit's starting to form. Then we go to 14 days. And then when we're at 21 days, that is a habit. That is ingrained in us. Some people say 30 or longer. We could argue after 2 or 3 days, some people stop smoking. Others, they take a long time before that addiction actually goes away, depending on which books you read and how you look at things. However, we have formed habits over this lockdown period. And when we go out into the wild, when we go into human interaction, we're not relaxed anymore because the habits that we have, the senses that we've been tapping into over this time are now being aroused in a different way. And those habits are having to be broken. We're having to deal with people. Second point I've got on this is During that time, we've been looking a lot at the news, and the media has started to, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it because I think it's true, condition our brains to believe certain things to be true, no matter if they're true or they're not true. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, but think about it. The more that you read and the more that you read it over, you might start to believe it. And you know what? I don't blame you, because we need to believe certain things. So some of us started to believe that wearing these gloves that are damaging the environment are really the right thing to do. Masks the same, and all this type of sanitization that's going on, what really is required. But because we have this perception build up in our mind, when we go to a public place, we want it and we demand it. And when it's not offered, we go back into this fight or flight mode. It's really, when we think about it, quite crazy behavior. The fact that when I was in a restaurant just a week ago now, between courses, they came to the table and cleaned it with hand sanitizer. Now, if someone had have done that 3 to 6 months ago, I'd have been like, why are you using hand sanitizer on the table? Actually, I was still like, why are you using hand sanitizer on the table between courses? If there was crap on this table, I've got this disease. And hopefully the 3 or 4 of us sat around this table have not transmitted the disease onto the surface between starter and main course. It's weird. It's crazy behavior. It's the same. It's becoming normal to wear these gloves, which again are damaging the environment terribly, and people are not disposing of them in the right way. And even if they were, they would still be damaging the environment. However, that's probably for a completely different show. It's crazy behavior. We're not used to it. We've been forced into this situation that we're not used to. That was my doorbell. And therefore, we start to behave differently. We don't feel comfortable with it. And we lash out. And that is our fight or flight. So, how do we bring that under control? How do we go back from the emergency system, the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode, to our parasympathetic, to our inner, that one, Zen, relaxed mode? Well, actually, there's a few really key ways that are going to help you, because at the start, you might be feeling that it's a very natural reaction to react in the way that you're reacting. And I don't disagree with you because of what I've said so far. So what things can we positively do to stop reacting like that? Would you believe it? Number one, to really tap into the parasympathetic nervous system is to practice regular exercise. Number two is to practice some form of relaxation. By that, it could be a number of different things. Some people find yoga relaxing, some people find meditation relaxing, some people just find breathing relaxing. There is so much untapped potential in breathing. I want to tell you, but I don't want to tell you in this particular show. It's absolutely huge. And a final thing, the fourth thing I want to share with you of how you can train yourself to not freak out in these situations is by spending good time with family and friends at social distances if you want, but if you live with them, that's also fine. Laughing and enjoying yourself. That is going to make a huge, huge difference. It's going to start to train you that when these situations come around, you could use one of those breathing techniques. And when someone is freaking out, or you feel a certain amount of friction in a public place with someone, and you feel that you're going into this nervous system, into this fight or flight, you can go, I'll take my gloves off. You'll sit down, no worries about the hand sanitizer. There's these techniques that you can do. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, my biggest reflection of this week is chill, be cool, be good to each other. We've all, around the world, been suppressed. We're all now going out. We have to relearn a little bit. We form these habits, we have to break them. We need to relearn how to behave. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to work harder on it, and I hope you are. That's all for this week. Have an awesome weekend. Thanks for coming by. I'll catch you next week. No more fight or flight. All in, good to each other. Cheers, guys.